So my mood while I'm out in the field is directly correlated to the quality of the plants that I'm directly picking over. As you can see, we've got some really nice looking plants here that are being guarded very diligently by Link the farm dog. And when I'm picking in these rows, my whole life, my whole attitude towards everything is just like, we're gonna make it after all. It's great. Things are going wonderfully. And then we walk just a couple feet over to the north here, and we have just absolute garbage. The plants are much smaller. A whole bunch of them died. I replanted them, and those replacements died too. And then you go just a little bit farther to the north, and all of a sudden, things are going great again. So the reason why we have such variability here in our plant health has to do with what the plants are growing into, soil. We have incredibly variable soil conditions, even in this single plot right here. It's the most variable, it's the most heterogeneous soil that I've ever grown in my entire life. And why is it so variable, right? That's the big $20,000 question. And the scientific term for why things are so crazy in here is glacial nonsense. Look it up. When you get a PhD, you'll understand terms like that. But we've got incredibly low yields and incredibly small plants in this area. And if I knew we were going to have this absolute garbage splotches, I would have done something about it, but I'm not going to let it happen again. Next year I'm going to do something about it, and that thing is cover crops. All right, so here is the future. This is the most annoying thing in the world. It's supposed to scare birds off, but I've legit seen birds on it. Anyways, so here we are going to be planting our strawberries in 2020. It's just this native sort of fallow prairie right now. My big worry though is as I'm walking across, you can see the sort of environment here gets really different, and I have a bad feeling it has to do with differences in soil health. So these big tall grasses over there really contrast with what we've got here, and as we can see, we've got super rocky terrain. We actually took a soil auger a little bit earlier in the week, and there was sand pretty much a couple feet down deep into the ground. So there's not a whole lot of organic matter. There's not going to be a whole lot of fertility, especially in these splotches where we can see that not even native grasses or prairie land is growing very well. So our solution here is to take some cover crop seeds, and we've got a little bit of tillage radish, which is a radish with a very long taproot that goes deep down into the soil, hopefully to break up some compaction, and then also oats. And this will just add a little bit more drainage. It'll add a little bit more soil matter and organic matter into the land. And then after we incorporate it in the spring, we will be putting some compost that's organically approved in the area as well, especially in the areas where we can tell that fertility is going to be an issue. This is something that I wish I did at the beginning of the year this year. I didn't know I was going to have such variable soils over here in my current plot. If I did do something like this, I have a feeling I would have gotten decently larger yields. And so I'm going to try and nip that in the bud, learn from my mistakes, and build soil organic matter, treat the soil well, while at the same time trying to increase my yields. So this apparatus right here is the star of the show, and it's what we're going to be using to plant all of our seeds into our acre plus of soil for next year. It's called a seed drill. Now, I'm a big dum-dum. I've never seen a seed drill before, so in my head I was thinking of this device maybe with, spinning drills that go into the soil, and you have this elaborate vacuum system that throws or sucks the seeds into the holes that are being made by the drill. But in reality, the seed drill is a much more simple and elegant solution than that. The drills themselves are actually just these little metal ice cream cone things here that siphon seeds from our basin into the soil, and we have these little double disc systems that are parting the soil like the Red Sea just in this tiny little area, and the seeds get dropped right into the trough made by these double discs. And then we have these chains here that will drag over the troughs after the seeds are put into the ground, and that will cover them up hopefully as the tractor is chugging along. We have our seed in this bag here, and inside our basin we can see that we have these gears that will be slowly turning at a rate, at a specified calibrated dispensing rate based on how fast you want to be planting the seed. And we have this helpful little diagram here that tells us what our calibrations should be. And that's pretty much it. It seems like a fairly simple operation, which are famous last words for someone who's never done something before. But I'm hoping that we can knock this out pretty quick and get some cover crop in the ground for 2020. So we've just started seeding right now. Sorry if you can't hear me very well. But we've filled up our basins with two different types of our cover crop. We've got our oat here in the big old basin. We've got our radish in the little old basin. And inside here, the gears are turning. As you can see, the oat is slowly making its way down into our ice cream cones through these rotating gears. As we drive forward, let's see if you can see any seeds falling off, getting thrown into those furrows made by the double discs. And then the double discs get covered up. You can see a little radish seed right there. Those aren't supposed to be going into the soil nearly as deep as the oats, so everything's looking pretty good. Farmer John, the landlord's probably bugged at me documenting this. This seems like a pretty idiot-proof way to cover crop, so I can't wait to mess it up. So the only thing that I really need to keep an eye on in the back here is making sure that each one of those gearboxes is completely covered with seed, so we get full coverage, like a really good insurance plan on the field. So if this hole gets so deep that there's no more seed going in, I'll just have to tell John to stop the tractor, move some stuff around, and be good to go. Alrighty, so here we are, just a couple days later, and though it looks like nothing's happened, what seems like a big brown graveyard is actually a nursery for 2020 goodness. If you can look down real close here, we've already got our seedlings for the radishes with that really familiar radish cotyledon, and we can even see the oats starting to pop up a little bit here too. So as long as we don't get super cold weather in the next couple weeks, which I don't think we're going to get based on the forecast, maybe just a little bit more rain, we should have a nice fall cover crop to improve our soil health, our microbiome, and our happiness in 2020. Oh my god, is that a dinosaur? Is that a velociraptor? Oh, no, it's just... Wait. Oh, it's just a dumb puppy.